the 18th of December 2022, the lives of Argentinian football fans never remained the same because they got the thing they wanted the most. But they went through the craziest emotional roller coaster before they got to the promised land.
Kylian Mbappé outdid himself during the 2022 World Cup final. His performance in the game struck many and was second to none. He almost won the game all by himself with his amazing skill and resilience. Aside from that, he scored 3 goals, including 2 near the end of the game that got them extra time and a penalty in the shootout. Even though France didn't win, Mbappé's effort was truly unforgettable, and that's what made the match one of the most exciting World Cup finals ever. So today, we will get to know how Mbappé carried France alone in the World Cup final game. Kylian Mbappé's journey over 120 minutes plus penalties in the 2022 World Cup game showed instances and also told many of one of football's most dramatic and unforgettable stories. Despite the match starting under a cloud for France, it wasn't in their favor at all. And for much of the first half, it seemed the young superstar, Mbappé, would be little more than a frustrated bystander due to Argentina's dominance in the game. From the opening whistle, Lionel Scaloni, Argentina's coach, even looked sharper, hungrier, and more in control than his players. The players dictated the pace, owned the ball most times, they pressed France severely into uncomfortable positions. As the game continued, one of France's players, Mbappé, usually electric and heavily involved from the first minutes, found himself unusually quiet. By halftime, he had managed only 11 touches, which is a strikingly low number for a player of his stature. With France already trailing 2-0, it was hard to imagine a way back. Lionel Messi had converted a penalty to open the scoring after Angel Di Maria was brought down, and Di Maria himself finished off a sweeping team move to double the lead. Every French attempt to gain momentum was quickly broken down, and Mbappé's isolation on the left wing was one of France's larger struggles. His not being recognized early wasn't for lack of effort, but rather the result of a team being completely outplayed.
From the very beginning, peppering Hugo Lloris's goal with shot after shot. And then, in the 23rd minute, Argentina were awarded a penalty for a pretty soft foul from Dembele on Di Maria. Messi stepped up and converted, 1-0 Argentina.
And also their sluggish start set the stage for the huge task ahead. France needed something spectacular to turn the tide, and if history has shown anything, it's that Mbappé is most dangerous when the stakes are highest. His moment finally arrived in the 80th minute. Nicolas Otamendi, under pressure from the relentless Randal Kolo Muani, fouled the French substitute inside the penalty area. The referee immediately pointed to the spot. The weight of the match, and arguably France's fate, fell onto Mbappé's shoulders. With the calm composure of a man untouched by the weight of the event, he stepped forward to take the penalty. Every movement was measured by him, the steady approach, the smooth run-up, and the perfectly timed strike that sent the ball skimming into the corner, far beyond Emiliano Martinez's desperate dive. The net rippled, and in that instant, the score drifted to 2-1 immediately. What had moments earlier felt like a fading dream for France was suddenly revived. The stadium's atmosphere changed. Hope surged back into French hearts. This wasn't merely a goal. It was a bold declaration that France was still in the fight. Mbappé's reaction stirred determination, his eyes sharp with belief. In that single moment, he reignited his team's spirit and signaled to the world that the contest was far from over, and he was ready to carry the weight of a nation on his shoulders. What followed struck many. Barely 97 seconds later, France mounted another attack. Marcus Thuram exchanged a quick 1-2 with Mbappé, setting him up for a perfectly timed volley. Without hesitation, Mbappé struck the ball cleanly, sending it skimming into the bottom right corner of the net. The French crowd erupted. In just under 2 minutes, Mbappé had dragged his country from the brink of defeat to level terms at 2-2. That volley was the work of a footballer in complete command of his skills, anticipating the play, positioning himself perfectly, and executing with flawless technique under crushing pressure. In less than 2 minutes, he had reminded the world why he is considered one of the greatest players of his generation. The match now wavered on a knife's edge. Argentina, which had seemed destined for victory, was disturbed. The energy in the stadium drifted entirely, with France's players' agility and the fans roaring them forward. Regulation time ended at 2-2, setting up a tense extra time period where every touch of the ball carried the weight of history. In the 109th minute, Argentina struck again. A rebound fell kindly to Messi, who tapped it over the line to restore Argentina's lead at 3-2. The goal was met with deafening cheers from Argentine fans, and for a moment it appeared that this would be the decisive blow. But if the match had already taught one lesson, it was that Mbappé's belief does not waver, no matter the scoreline or the minute on the clock. Just 7 minutes later, in the 116th minute, France attacked once more. A shot struck Gonzalo Montiel's arm in the penalty area, and the referee immediately awarded another spot kick. The responsibility again fell to Mbappé. The pressure was unimaginable. Score, and France would equalize yet again. Miss, and the dream would likely die. Mbappé didn't flinch. He took a deep breath, approached the ball, and dispatched it with the same composure he had shown earlier. The achievement also placed him alongside Carly Lloyd, who scored a hat-trick in the 2015 Women's World Cup final, in an elite and exclusive club. Also, it wasn't just about goals, it was about resistance, resilience, and an iron will to compete until the final second. Mbappé's hat-trick also secured him the Golden Boot as the tournament's top scorer, finishing with 8 goals in total. It was the perfect statistical representation of what the football world had witnessed over the past month. A player at the peak of his powers, carrying the hopes of a nation. As the match went to penalties, the weight of the game was greatly felt. Mbappé stepped up to take France's first penalty, and as expected, delivered with supreme confidence. Unfortunately for France, the shootout turned cruel. Kingsley Coman's penalty was saved, and Aurélien Tchouaméni sent his effort wide. Argentina converted their chances, and Montiel, the man whose handball had given Mbappé his third goal, scored the decisive spot kick to crown Argentina champions. In addition, Mbappé's iconic moves in football reminded everyone that it is a team sport. One man, no matter how extraordinary, cannot always overcome the collective force of an opponent. Yet, the sting of defeat did not overshadow what he had accomplished. His manager, Didier Deschamps, praised his determination, calling his performance magnificent and acknowledging that Mbappé had left an indelible mark on the final. Deschamps, a former French footballer, also noted that most of the French team looked drained and far from their usual sharpness, making Mbappé's relentless energy stand out even more. And this particular match showed every quality that makes Mbappé one of football's brightest stars, radiating his explosive pace, sharp instincts, technical brilliance, and sense of organization too. Few players can claim to have turned a World Cup final on its head almost single-handedly, twice. He carried France from a position of despair to the brink of triumph, responding to setbacks with immediate and decisive action. Beyond the historical records, the final also revealed something deeper about Mbappé, especially his refusal to give up. Many players, facing such a dominant opponent and a 2-goal deficit in a final, might mentally fade. Mbappé did the opposite. He grew stronger, more determined, and more dangerous as the match wore on. That kind of mindset is rare, and it is what separates the great from the legendary. Aside from that, the night in Lucé was packed with defining moments. His initial struggles, the penalty that reignited hope, the volley that shocked Argentina, the composure to equalize again after Messi's second goal, and the poise to open France's account in the shootout. Each of these moments told a part of the story. Altogether, it was more like a picture of a player refusing to be a mere participant in football's biggest match. It is often said that World Cup finals are about heroes and history. In Qatar, Mbappé engraved his name into both. Even in defeat, he delivered one of the greatest individual performances the stage has ever seen, inspiring admiration not just from French fans, but from football lovers around the globe. His display was a reminder that the sport's most iconic moments are not only found in victory parades, but also in the raw brilliance of a player pushing the limits of what is possible when everything is on the line. Beyond the immediate drama of goals and penalties, the final provided a fascinating study in the game tactics and timing. Argentina's efficient setup disrupted France's playing pattern earlier, closing lanes and forcing longer passes, which made Scaloni uneasy, especially when France struggled, showing how small tactical edges can define a match. Mbappé's physical display was a standout, Across 120 minutes, he showed extraordinary stamina and speed, repeatedly beating his marker and exploiting space behind Argentina's backline. His dangerous off-ball movement dragged defenders out of position and opened channels for teammates, turning individual runs into collective opportunities. He combined pace with clinical finishing, reminding everyone that his threat was both athletic and technical. Emotionally, the match swung wildly. Supporters endured despair, hope, and raw excitement in rapid succession. It was an exhausting but unforgettable ride. For young players watching, Mbappé's night is a masterclass in resilience, staying mentally present, seizing moments when they come, and responding to setbacks with fearless focus. For coaches, it offered lessons in substitutions, game management, and the fine margins that tip contests at the highest level. Finally, Mbappé's evening in Lusail became part of his story, a testament to talent that blends speed, skill, and steel. Though the ultimate prize went elsewhere, the performance carved his name into World Cup lore and confirmed that his journey toward football immortality was accelerating, not concluding. It will be cited as a defining moment in modern football narratives and debates elsewhere. Do you think Argentina deserves the World Cup trophy after all Kylian Mbappé did to win? Let's know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit subscribe for more updates.